Hello and welcome to Ground Control Board Games Top 100 Games. Today we are doing 50 to 26. As always, there are timestamps in the description. Feel free to skip around, skip this preamble. But for now, fellas, I dug into some data, as I do. You know I love my data. And I was looking back at last year, and I was wondering, what is Ground Control Board Games' favorite game as a collective as of last year? It turns out in the top 25, we had 14 two-way crossovers. Every combination of the two of us, me and Ben and Chan and me, had at least 4 crossovers. But in the top 25, there were 0 three-way crossovers. You had to count all the way up to 34 to get the first three-way crossover. And in the top 50, we had 7 three-way crossovers, including Bonanza, Raw, Skull, Galaxy Trucker, Cascadia, Hadrian's Wall, and then the number one pick that you had to count all the way up to 34 to get. Do I have any guesses on what that game is?
Is it Camel Up?
It's Camel Up.
Damn, that's a great guess.
Too easy.
So if you would have asked us last year, the greatest game of all time was Camel Up. And yeah, I'm excited to see what it is this year.
What a fun little tidbit.
At number 50, I have Gazebo. This is a lovely little abstract area control game that Chan taught me this year. I just really like the production of this game. It's just a very cute game. It just folds out on this cloth, and the rules are super simple. And I like how quickly it becomes a puzzle of how do I do something that's good for myself that isn't setting up someone else's turn, and the board just becomes kind of claustrophobic in that manner. So yeah, had a lot of fun with this one.
My number 50 is Sardinia. A nice little box. It's one of those games where the box is the board that you play on, which is always just an immediate draw for me. This one's just a really good area control game. Very pleasantly surprised by this one.
So first up for me is Skull. It's the OG and probably the simplest possible bluffing game. I am notably horrible at this game. I think it's probably the worst board game. In terms of skill, I have no ability for this, but it's so fun. It's such an easy, play it at a bar. This is the quintessential bar game.
Last time we played this, you were like, I'm terrible at this game. And I was like, how can you be bad at Skull? And then not only did you do terrible, but I also did terrible.
But I held off. I held off for so many turns, and then I lost one of my cards, and I got impatient. I'm like, fuck this game. I lost 5 rounds after that.
That's always my biggest problem with Skull is I get impatient, and then I just play so messily.
Just burn through your lives.
Yeah.
49, I have Cretaceous Rails. This is an Omaha designer, which is really exciting. This game, it just looks like you're playing with toys when you play with it. The entire table is just covered with neon pink trains and dinosaurs, which is kind of charming. The gameplay itself is also pretty thinky, but also pretty easy to get to know. I think that the iconography could use a little bit of an upgrade just to make it a little easier. I like this one.
My number 49 is Sleeping Gods, which I haven't played it recently, but it's actually gone up, mostly because my appreciation for this game has gone up a lot. This game is so good at doing what it does, and I just really appreciate it for that.
Next up for me is Small Time Heroes. This was a game gifted to me by Chan for a little bit. Everyone who plays this game compares this to Slay the Spire. In that tradition, the best thing I can say about it is it definitely feels like a version of Slay the Spire that was intended first and foremost as a board game. I played it solo, and for that I thought it was really fun. I think I played as the warrior for my go through, and it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun doing a lot of familiar card archetypes, but I thought it was very neat and nifty, and it was very daft.
At 48, I have Far Away. This is just one of the best filler games out there, and I think that it's an example of a game that gets a little bit boosted on my list by the fact that Chan owns it and I don't. So just that scarcity of when I even can play it makes it really exciting when I can.
My number 48 is The Red Cathedral. This is one of DeVere's small box Euro games. It's definitely better multiplayer. The solo is pretty serviceable, but the player interaction with the multiplayer is really fun. And it's pretty quick, and it's a nice puzzle. I like it quite a bit.
Next up for me is classic Cascadia. This is a of the genre of tile laying animal games where you're trying to build out little combos from having things arrayed out in a specific way. This is probably like the most famous one. I think for pretty good reason. I think it's really neat. I really like the colors. I like the very simple drafting. I think that it kind of breaks down in a way that's like it allows you to focus on your strategy and it never becomes overwhelming. But kind of like other games like this, if I am good at it, I don't respect the design on a certain level, but I do really like that it's like simple enough that it can fit in my small brain.
This is Nana. My friend picked this up for me in Japan, which is really nice because it lets me feel like a hipster. I feel like I'm Mike DeLisio with my Japanese picks. Nana is just a fantastic little memory-based card game that I'm sure that like any 7-year-old on the planet would just absolutely decimate me. But when I'm playing against my friends who like have a beer in their hand, then I hold my own.
My number 47 is Kanban EV. I have so much love for this game. This game is a beaut. Everything about this game, from like the theme to the gameplay, like absolutely entrances me. Like I know it's only at 47, but like this is one of my favorite games.
Isn't this like one of the most complicated games on the Board Game Geek?
No, I think it's like a 4 or something on like the
Really?
BGG weight scale, but
It's definitely up
it's
there.
more like it's a complicated game for sure, but I wouldn't say it's like overblown.
Next up for me is Seven Wonders. This is kind of a hand building game. Every time I talk about this game, more and more time has passed since the last time I played it because my friend who owns it currently lives in Salt Lake City. But I really enjoyed my time with this. I thought that it was really interesting how it kind of built out the scale of the world just by where everybody sits on the table. Like, who you're sitting next to and what they're doing is so important, but kind of what people across the table are doing isn't as important, and it really has this cool sense of scale for something that's like not relatively like a big giant world game.
At 46, I have Galaxy Trucker. One thing that I started to realize when I was like reviewing this list is how much I just value a funny game. Galaxy Trucker is like has 2 parts and each are funny in like their own way, in their own respective way, which I really like. When this game is at its worst, it's truly just like when everyone does good and the second half of the game isn't funny because no one's spaceship gets like blown in half. And last time I played it, we just decided in a 3 to 4 player game, like just keep drawing cards until one person is like completely dead, and then just consider that the end game condition. And yeah, that's my preferred way to play now. I thought that was hilarious.
Following a Mark's track of valuing a game that's fun, I have Joyride. This is like Heat if Heat was stupid, and wow, is it fun! Like this game it's just demolition derby racing, and like your car can get just so destroyed in this game, and it's so funny. Like you'll just speed off into a wall and then have to spend like the next 2 turns like trying to reverse away from it. It's just such a fun time to play. And the puzzle that's there, like the actual driving puzzle, is actually really interesting. And there's some fun strategy there. But then when it just blows up in your face, like you don't even care because it's just so funny. Really, really fun game.
Next up for me is Architects of the West Kingdom. This was really fun. I played this relatively recently or late into 2025. And I thought that the strategies in it were, I never felt like I was completely closing myself off by going one specific route. I thought that everything was fairly knowable. I thought it was kind of sharp with the decision making and how other players can kind of screw you over or like really screw you over. But most of the time it's just these little like nubs. It's just like a little bit of a take that thing. I thought it was really entertaining.
Terraforming Mars combined with Ares Expedition, they're both similar in my mind. I think that I prefer the big game as kind of the one that I chose. This is a engine builder. This is the definition of a big, nerdy, over-the-top, pure engine builder, which is a lot of fun, and it goes with the theme really well because, like, in round 1, you'll be like, "Ooh boy, I'm growing bacteria in my little petri dish," and then by like generation 6, you're like deciding where to put the capital city of Mars and like crashing ice asteroids into the planet and like creating oceans, which is really cool. Whenever I teach it, I'm just like, bacteria and animals, if you want to ignore them, just like fully ignore that because it's like a whole other thing.
Every time I play this, I never fuck with microbes.
Dude, I'm a microbes maxer. My number 45 is Skull, moved up 4 slots. Because, man, I really enjoy this game. One of my favorite things about this game is just, like, how different every game can be. Like, sometimes you just have, like, a war of attrition between the players, and other times it's just, like, a blowout. Like, a player just wins immediately. There's a lot of different things you can, like, try, too, to, like, get in other players' heads. Like, it's a very flexible game, honestly, and I really appreciate it for that.
I'm happy to see Skull moving up, even after all these years of playing it.
I was kind of surprised it moved up, but yeah.
Some of these games, like, when they've been here for, like, all these years, and then they move up even just a little, it feels like they're, like, weathering the storm of all the new games that are coming in every year that could be on top of it.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Next up for me is Dominion. This is a classic deck building game. I'm going to say something a little controversial. I like the theme in this game. I'm a sucker for like your basic medieval fantasy. Like, I think there's something to be said about that. It's like the most generic board game theme you can have, but there's a reason for that. It's because it's kind of fun. It allows you to go in a bunch of different directions, which it obviously did with the insane number of expansions and add-ons that this game has gotten. I've only dipped my toe into all of those, but I really like the base game systems that are there.
At 44, I have Newsfjord, and I realized that I've played 7 Uwe Rosenberg games, and none of them are bad, but only 2 of them made my list, and this is the first of the 2, which was kind of surprising to me. But Newsfjord is just a banger of a game. It's very cozy. It's all about building up your fishing company, and every round you're just like hauling in more and more fish, which is a lot of fun, and it's only 21 turns. It goes really fast. Just a really good one.
My number 44 is Too Many Bones, and it didn't move at all. Just stayed in place. It's a good old battler. I like the upgrading systems. I've only ever played it like with Mark. I've never played it solo or anything, but every time I've played it, I've had a pretty good time.
Next up for me is Priorities. Speaking of priorities, this is a way lower priority than last year, apparently. I don't know. I was kind of surprised that I ranked it that high. But I think I did say last year that this is the type of game where like the more you play it, there's like an upper ceiling for how much you can just by the number of cards. Like as soon as you see a card and someone answers for it, then you kind of know and it ceases to be surprising. But still, I think this is like a very fun, easy party game. I love the way that it does like victory points. So the way it works is you are collectively working with other people around the table to try to correctly guess the clues that you're giving, and you're playing against the game. So the game is trying to spell out priorities on the back of all of these cards, and you're trying to spell it, and whoever spells it first wins. And I think it's just such a simple thing, but it adds so much like anticipation, or like it's like a moment every time.
Yeah, I love the players versus bot in this game. And also it's a party game, which is like you don't see that in a party game ever.
At 43, I have Mistborn, the deck building game. So when people talk about Dune Imperium, they talk about how they love the game and they're not even like a huge Dune fan. That's something that I hear all the time. And that is just something that you will never hear someone say about this game because as a deck builder from like a mechanics standpoint, it's like a good game. It's like a decent game, but I can see someone like asking themselves like, why am I managing 8 resources right now? This makes no sense. But as a Mistborn game for Mistborn fans, it's a really awesome game. And all of like the added complexity totally serves the theme. Everything that makes it more complicated than like a Dominion, even though it's only like as strategically deep as Dominion, is all in service of that theme. So for like big Sanderson nerds like me, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, this gets the double dork combo bonus of like trying to explain Dominion to your mom is one thing, but like trying to imagine telling my mom okay, here's when you burn tin, and this is what allomancy is. And it's like, right, Kelly's not going to understand what I'm fucking talking about.
My number 43 is Legacy of You. If you want a solo Euro game that you can play in less than 45 minutes, I don't know what else I'd recommend. This game's awesome. The campaign elements of it are really fun too. I've played probably 3 campaigns of it at this point, and I've never had a bad time.
Next up, we got a heater. It's Mole Poker, ladies and gentlemen. Mole Poker. This game is so fun.
Hell yeah.
This is a game about trying to build out a poker set, and there's a bunch of different hands with different ratios of numbers, and you're just trying to do a simple strategy, and you're gonna get fucked up. It's so surprising that by limiting the number of decisions, it feels like you're doing so much hard thinking for what is ultimately like a very simple gambling. This game is really fun. I could see myself putting it even higher next year. Like I think I won't stop playing this.
At 42, I have A Feast for Odin. This is my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game, and I feel like I spoke my piece on it last year. So this year, I decided to get Tom Fritz's review on it, and this is what he said about it. I think it summed up the game very nicely. Feast for Odin feels like you're sitting at a roadside diner, looking at the menu and realizing, oh shit, they have everything. It's overwhelming at first, and you're constantly wondering if you're making the right move, ordering the right thing. Eventually, my friend told me, just start doing stuff that sounds interesting. And that's when I started to have a lot of fun. Trying to balance out when you're going to take those bigger actions that require a bunch of meeples versus some of the lesser ones is a really fun management problem. And at the end of the day, you just gotta feed your dudes. By the end of my first game, I still had no idea what over half the actions did, but that just made me more excited to try it again.
Continuing with the Rosenbergs, I have news for you. I don't really have much to add on to what Mark said, but this game's a delight.
Look at all that text on cards.
Oh yeah, that's its downfall. It's just how much text is on the cards, and the cards aren't big.
No icons.
Yeah, no icons.
There's a few. There's a few icons, but not nearly enough.
And at the beginning of the game, you also have to read like every card. Like I think this game would benefit from like a normal card market that just like has like 5 cards out at a time, but. It's like, okay, we're sitting down to play like a really simple, cozy game, but also like read these 20 cards first and like kind of remember what they are.
So next up is Secret Hitler. Last year I popped the fuck off on this game, and it's funny that I have like nicer things to say about it this year. When it's 16 points lower, it's like so indicative of where like the more you play this game, the more you hate this game. And I've played this game less, and so I'm like, I feel myself coming back. So for a moment of defense, I'll say that I love the theme for this game. I think it's so evocative. I think it elevates it above a bunch of other hidden role and trader type games. It is a little bit too slow. The pacing is like actually horrendous in a way that's like deleterious to your experience playing the game. Like this is a frustrating game. But I think that adds a lot of the charm to it. This game is like, it's like a social experience when you play. I can see myself playing this for like the next 20 years, but briefly, with pauses in between.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Honestly, I'm in an abusive relationship. It's like we're codependent. Wish I knew how to quit you. Hitler. Oh.
At 41, I have Black Sonata. This game is a solo hidden movement game, which like that's kind of the whole thing, is just geeking out about how that even works. Like the whole enjoyment of the game being just like at awe with like what they've designed and like the systems and the way that like the cards have holes in them and like how things sequence in a way. And I mean, just like what a undertaking to even try to design something like this. And the fact that it works and it works really well and it's like compelling when you play it is just like 10 out of 10.
It's absolute cinema. This game is amazing. And I don't care about the theme at all. But wow.
Right.
It's just such a good game.
So impressive.
What's the theme?
The theme is you're searching for Shakespeare's Dark Lady from his his sonnets. I don't even know.
I already don't care.
Yeah, like I've never. This is my like biggest theme preference to enjoyment ratio of all time. But the game enjoyment is like high 90s. Like this game's so good. Speaking of solo, my number 41 is Final Girl. There's not a lot to say about this game that hasn't been said already. So really good game. You can play it in like an hour. A lot of variability. Super fun every time.
It's terraforming Mars. I said it last year that for me, the theme is more important than the mechanics. It's just a really, really engaging theme. I think the fact that the board in the middle is like very rarely used and you're kind of in your own head adds this there's a meta game where it's like, oh, you're kind of interested in your own stuff, and then briefly you engage with other people in like the actual big project that you're working. That, I don't know, it kind of speaks to me with the way that like a lot of big projects actually work, where it's like you're kind of in the weeds, and then as an afterthought, you get to like create something really, really interesting and cool.
This is Moon Colony Bloodbath. This is created by Donald X, the man behind Dominion. And when you read the Dominion rulebooks, there's always like a blurb. And I've read some of his blogs before. And like from those, you can tell that Donald X is like a funny guy. This game feels like this is Donald X's like comedy special. Like the whole game is just like meant to be funny. and I love it for it. At its core, it's just like a dead simple, pretty uninteresting engine builder. Like without the whole engine destroying part of the game, there wouldn't be much there. But as you're colonizing the moon, like the robots that you've built have started to like turn against you, and there's like air leaks and like murderous robots, and like everything that you've started to build up is just like getting absolutely destroyed. And there's like around the table, there's just like groans of people like figuring out what they want to sacrifice, and one of the funniest games out there. So yeah, I really like it for that.
As a comparison to Galaxy Trucker, I think I like this one more because like you are guaranteed to just get fucked. Like yeah. Galaxy Trucker, you can skirt by with no problem. This one, like, bad things are gonna happen to you. It's guaranteed every time.
The things that happen are so bad that you beg for work. you're begging to get to the job and clock in.
Oh my god, please let me work.
Just let me work.
Please.
All right, my number 40 is Sky Team. This is just a really good co-op dice rolling, dice placement game. It's a really fun puzzle, and it's funny when you crash. It's got really good ways to like amp the difficulty up too. All in all, just a really enjoyable experience.
This next one is like so damning for me because if there was one game where I predicted I was going to play it a bunch in 2025 and I played it like not at all, is Arcs. I really enjoyed my time with this game, and I really appreciate the trick-taking based area control stuff. I think that's such a fun idea. Trick-taking is very popular nowadays. It's very in vogue right now, but I think the reason that it's adopted in a lot of games is because there's this like slippery element of the strategy where it's kind of like a runaway effect, and you're kind of trying to control momentum in a way that older games just are. They have a lot of trouble emulating. And I think it's very appropriate for a war game where it's like you're fighting this asymmetric thing and you're trying to slip in and out. All that being said, I still haven't played it this year, and I'd really like to play it another time. But until then, I can't keep it up there. It's been pushed out by other stuff I've played.
After we play the campaign of this, like this game's going to be in like your top 10 for sure for the rest of your life. Just saying.
At 39, I have Ben's 2024 gold medal game, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. After he put this at his number 1, I was like, I have to play it this year. And I expected not to like it because this is the only social deduction game in my top 100. It probably would be the only one even in my top 200. And when we played it, I was the killer. So like I was in like the most like anxiety hotspot seat that I don't like in those kind of games. But being the killer in this game is just easy because you just kind of like get to play the game normally. And if people start pointing their finger at you, you can just like agree with them. You could be like, oh yeah, I can like see how you would see that. And even if you're like dead obvious and they know it's you, they still have to figure it out because you still have 8 cards. So that was really cool. And when we played it, I was dealt kick and egg as 2 of my words. And like the second I saw egg, I said out loud, oh my God, I got egg. And I was so excited. And then I realized I was the killer. And I was like, great, now I can't choose egg because I just said that. And the reason that I got off scot-free is because everybody looked at my cards and they were like, Well, if Mark were the killer, he'd choose Kick Egg, and Egg doesn't make sense, so it's obviously not Mark. And it just became like the Kick Egg game. The same way that Ben had mentioned last year that this was like the flip flop blender game. So it was fun to like have that same kind of story. Yeah, really, really fun.
Any game where you can do social deduction and tell a person like you don't need to be like having a heart attack being the traitor is like that alone is just so novel for me.
My number 39 is Skara Brae. This is just a really fun worker placement, resource management game. Yeah, I've never really played a game where like you can just like grow mold in your resource supply, which I think is really funny. There's also just like way too many resources, which also adds to the fun.
So what's this game about?
Skarbray is like the ancient Scottish village that they found like remnants of, and the people there like are thought to have been like peaceful people because they like didn't build any weapons, and when they would discard stuff, they would, instead of like doing something else with it, they would just throw all their trash into these big piles, and then like over the years the piles would like harden basically, and then they would burrow under those. Like later generations of people in this village would burrow under those and like create their homes. They like seemingly like had like a lot of time on their hands because like they had like a lot of resources, and like they weren't like fighting anyone because they were just on this isolated island. And so they would spend their time like carving these intricate balls into like weird geometric patterns, which is kind of like what you see down on the bottom left.
Yeah, you can see a picture of it.
That's really interesting.
It's cool history too.
A chiller people. Next up for me is Pandemic. I really like the theme for this. I think that the obviously the core pandemic system of guys appear, you need to stop them, or they're going to come out and spread to other places. It's just really evocative. It feels like a Michael Crichton novel almost, where you're like going off to across the world, and we need to go to South Korea now to stop this disease, and then you like take a plane, and then you're like, I got this. I'll don't worry, I can hack you into the mainframe. It's just a really fun co-op experience, and it's a classic for a reason.
I feel like there's like a pre-pandemic and Dominion board game world, and then a post. Like 2008, both those games came out, and they both just like define like entire mechanisms and genres that just like changed board games forever. At 38, I have Cartographers. This is my lowest past medal winner. Cartographers is my favorite game to play when I'm hanging out with 99 of my closest homies. It really is like, I think the staying power of this game is like just how well it scales. Like I don't think I reach for this game anymore when I'm at like 4 players, but in terms of like thinky games that can support 7, 8, 9, as many people as you want, it's really fun for that. I think that if they ever made a version of this with like giant cards that like a bunch of people could see, I'd be a customer of that.
My number 38 is Gazebo. I kind of think of it as like a Tigris and Euphrates light almost. It's just a lot of really interesting plays to be made, and the game is like dead simple. And the production is just fantastic. It's a really beautiful game.
Next up is Orléans. It is the ultimate tracking game. You can kind of see in the picture that you're going along trackers, and it's a bit of a bag builder. You're reaching into a bag and you're pulling stuff, but instead of quacks, where it's mostly groaning, it's only some groaning. You're not getting all your good tiles. I really, really like the like small bits of randomness with digging in to your bag versus like the crazy number of directions that you can take. There's a lot of really fun stuff that you can do with upgrades. There's some like unique abilities that you can get that can like just fully like change the way that you build your whole game. And it's got that classic deck builder and bag builder style thing where you kind of want to like discard as many of your own tokens so you can get a really thin deck as possible, but discarding ones has like different effects for victory points, so that's also a bit of a crunchy bit there. I just thought it was really, really smart, and I could see myself playing this like 10 times and like really digging into the strategy.
My number 37, and this is kind of like a massive spoiler. This is the only game that didn't move on my entire 100 this year, and it is my favorite Knizia game, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, bidding system, and I love just how ambiguous the values of everything are. It's like just so hard to try to, decide when to spend your sundials on what, based on what's out there and the sundial that you're actually bidding for, which is why, like, compared to something like modern art, which just gets like so mathy, and you can calculate the value of things, I prefer something like this.
My number 37 is the Anarchy, and I combined it with Hadrian's Wall, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to do, but I did it anyways. The Anarchy is just Hadrian's Wall, but like taken to like the 10th degree. I like the combat a lot more in this game. Like the way that you defend is a lot cooler, and there's just a lot to do.
You prefer it over Hadrian's Wall?
Yeah, a lot actually.
I got Startups from my next one. This one fell a bit. I still think that it's a fun game. You are trying to have the most cards of a specific type so that you have a majority, but also you don't want to have all of them because every single card of that type in non-owners' hands is going to be negative points for them and positive points for you. So you really want to be in like a neck-and-neck competition, but not so ambiguous where you could end up losing all those points. I think it's really sharp. It's a good time.
The highest climb on my list this year is a game about climbing, funny enough. This is Can't Stop. It's pure junk food. This is like the value menu cheeseburger. There are healthier meals, but it's just so good. It's just so fun. It's dumb. It's like gluttonous. You feel greedy on your turn. But you can't stop.
The things that this game does to your brain is evil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You become a piece of shit when you play this.
Number 36 for me is Weather Machine. This is kind of like the way that Ben feels about Hadrian's Wall is the way I feel about this game. Like, this game is just stupid complicated, and it's so much fun, and it like makes you feel really smart when you play it. There's so much to do, and everything is just so highly intricate. I really, really enjoy this game. I love the theme, too. You're like a scientist. It has like an academic theme, which really appeals to me. But the theme is you're a scientist, and you're working under this like doctor. His name's Dr. Latif, which is just VTEL backwards, because it's a Vita Lacerda game. But he's made this machine that controls the weather, but every time you like fire it off, it like makes the weather way worse. So like you're trying to do research on the machine by like using the machine, but then it makes the weather worse. So then you gotta like go fix it, and you're like working with the government to make their own weather machine. You're trying to get like grants, and then you want to get like papers published so that you can like work on like a machine of your own, and then you like try to repair the weather. It's really cool.
That's funny.
Just that classic tale that we all know.
Everybody knows that story.
Uh-oh, next up we got Snake Oil. This is a really funny game. I actually have a stretch of kind of funny games coming up. But this is a game where it's almost more... This is like a dirty improv student game where it's more of like the experience of playing it with other people, where you get 2 words and you have to come up with a product for a fake problem. And it's basically just a pure exercise in creativity. You have to come up with like a 30 to, I think, a minute long pitch for your product. And it's just extremely funny. I really like this game. I'm surprised I don't play it more, honestly, because it's just a barrel of laughs.
So Friedman Freeze only makes games that are green and start with the letter F. So I was really confused until I found out that this was called Friedman Freeze's Funkenschlag for the longest time. And then Rio Grande messed it up and published it as Power Grid. This is an economic game with paper money, which kind of already sets a funny vibe. I don't think that it'll ever rise for me because, like, I'm not at all keen on the idea of, like, playing it again. But the play that I did have of it this year was just, like, such... Like, it might have been, like, the favorite play of any board game I played this year. So, yeah, kind of like a weird 35.
My number 35 is Magical Athlete. This game is just a hoot and a holler. This game has like brought me just so much joy this year or this past year. And I think I got it in like November or something. I don't know. I haven't had this game for that long, but wow, is it fun. Like, it's just so immediate. It's so funny, and you just want to play it again immediately. I don't know. This game's great. All the characters are so funny. I love the custom meeples. I'll play this game anytime with anyone.
Okay. My next game is Hex Hex, a game I played recently. This is like the type of game where like you say you like board games and your uncle's like, oh, he like takes you to his garage and he's like, oh, I've been working on a game for the last 35 years. And he breaks out Hex Hex. Hex Hex is like a monstrosity take that game where it's like there are a million rules and they're so situational. There's so many like edge case stuff. And it's like most of the game is explaining what just happened in the game, but it's just so entertaining. It's like the apotheosis of take that games, where it's always like you're just like dogpiling people. Like you can do some heinous shit to other players in this game, but the trick side of that is that like it allows you to get revenge, and there's so many fun combos that you can do. Like I feel like I really scratched the surface of what can happen in this game. I feel like there's like a massive maybe not skill ceiling, but just like shit that can happen ceiling.
I feel like the Exploding Kittens team like played this game and they were like, what if we made this like actually easy to play and put kittens on it and then made like $1 billion? But
Yeah.
I vastly prefer Hex Hex over Exploding Kittens. It's just like the clunkiness is like what makes it so funny, and like the obscurity and kind of like ugliness of the game is like so charming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would play this shit. I would play this shit like this week.
Great pick, Ben. I love that it's this high. At 34, I have So Clover. This is my favorite clue-giving game and my favorite word puzzle game. And it's one of those games that even though it's fallen a bit, I think it's going to weather the storm in the upcoming years better than other games. I think it's always going to kind of be up here just because it fits that niche that, yeah, I think I'm just going to play this for like my entire life, basically.
That's a good opinion right there.
All right, my number 34 is So Clover. This is like my favorite clue-giving game, party game. You can really just bring it out in front of everyone. I think it's really like weathered the storm, and I mean, it's gone up for me, but I really see this one being a game that I can just play for years.
That's a really good take. Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's a good take, Oh my god, the hive mind. Now King Domino! I love this game. This game's so fun. This is I feel like this game was like from idea to prototype to final version was like could have been in like an afternoon. Like you could have cracked this game open very, very quickly. Like the rules are very simple, but there's like a little bit of a smart action selection thing of deciding whether or not to take a maybe less desirable tile. Maybe it doesn't work as well for you, but you can kind of build out in a different way. But then you get to be sooner in the selection, so you get a better choice next round when you might need it a little bit more. And then there's like this really fun bit of this mini game challenge of trying to get a perfect square throughout the game. And sometimes you can do it, and sometimes you can't. It's better if you can, but sometimes you just need to get those points. I think this is a really fun time. Another fun kind of in-between game for like 2 to 4 people. This one's a classic.
At 33, I have Clask. This is just like a very high energy game. It's just always like a silly, fun time. I'm always amazed. I feel like I don't have that good of reflexes, and like I'm also not very coordinated. But like somehow I'm like blocking the ball, and like I don't know how. It doesn't make any sense in my brain because the ball is like this big and it's moving at like a high speed, and my peg is also that big, and like yet somehow I'm able to block it. So yeah, it lets a bad player be good, and I appreciate it for that.
I think this is like a weirdly fun spectator sport for a dexterity game.
Oh, it's so much fun to watch.
I feel like when you watch air hockey, like a good player, like you don't see what happens to the puck. Like it's just in your opponent's goal. There's like so much fun about like the tactile, like you thunk into your own goal, or you like kind of hit the magnets over onto your opponent's thing. Like it's entertaining.
My number 33 is my second one in this short 50 to 26 list that hasn't moved. Yeah, this is just Seven Wonders Duel, but they made it Lord of the Rings themed, and it's way better for it, in my opinion. 2-player drafting game, and the meeples are nice. I like the puzzles they've added.
Next up, this is Obscurio. This moved down 14 from last year. I called it Mysterium last time. It's a similar but completely different game. But Obscurio is another of the hit and roll style games, and it's this high up here not for the hit and roll stuff, for more of just one, how gorgeous this game is, two, for how many fun edge case stuff from like reaching into the bag. There's like these challenge things that make it harder for you to do the guessing. But the standout part of this game is that the clue giving is simultaneously like very immediate and very abstract. Like this is like the only clue giving game where like the person giving the clues can use like metaphors and stuff. It's very abstract, and the fact that the cards are so gorgeous really just makes it sing. My favorite games of this I've played was just like three people, and there was no trader. We were just earnestly trying to win the game. Because when you are the trader, the way to play as the trader is just pretend to be really, really bad at Obscurio. And it just feels kind of horrible throughout.
At 32, I have Ezra and Nehemiah, which is surprisingly the only Garfield to show up on this video. And like most of their games, this game just has like such high search. Like it just involves a lot of like looking around the board and seeing what you can do. There's just like a million like wall sections that you could build, or like a whole bunch of the scrolls that you could translate. But the card system and the way that the colors of the banners work kind of like helps give you focus, because you just kind of like choose one color and then that kind of dictates like the next couple cards you should go that route. So I like that the game kind of gives you focus. I think that it's a really, really well designed game.
My number 32 is Moon Colony Bloodbath. I'll keep this kind of short because Mark already talked about it, but this game is just stupid fun. I mean, Mark said it's a pretty like simple engine builder, but I actually love the optimization puzzle of like building that engine and then knowing like what pieces you're gonna cut first. And like sometimes like you'll add a building to your tableau that like you're just gonna be like, okay, this one's the first to go. I'm gonna use it for like two things and it's gone. Those people are dead. And it's just a really fun puzzle. I love this game.
Jan always does really good at this game, and it's probably because he's planning ahead in that way.
I know who's expendable.
It's always like someone finally dies, and Chan's like, yeah, I still got like 40 people. It's all good.
Yeah. Next up is Cretaceous Rail. Why do I like Cretaceous Rail? Is it because the mechanics are really interesting? They might be. I couldn't tell. Is it because the design was like particularly subtle? I honestly couldn't tell you. No, the reason this game is awesome is because it's about dinosaurs and it's about fucking trains. The theme is just so fun for this. I love the like pseudo. It's almost like it reminds me of like charting off into the wild, like figuring out which way you're going to travel, which dinosaurs you're going to capture. I just think the theme really sings for me. Functionally, I don't know what it means to be building out a train into the middle of the wilderness to capture dinosaurs. Like, but I think we all understand it's like a Jurassic Park style thing. I just think that it's a really fun idea, and any mechanics that allow me to do that was pretty fun. And I actually did pretty decent.
At 31, I have Rebel Princess. This is the game of hearts, but with player abilities and round effects. It just creates like a really, really good game. I mean, it had the basis of hearts, which is good, and they just kind of like perfected that system. And then they added this really charming theme. You're putting on a ball where only princesses and animals are invited, and then these princes are like trying to sneak in and propose to the princesses, and whoever gets like the least proposals wins. So it's like just trying to like escape the princes. Yeah, just really charming. Probably my favorite competitive trick taker.
Number 31 for me is Heat. This is a really good game. I think I've played it maybe too much at this point, but I do really enjoy it every time. I think I need to play more of the campaign where you're really like upgrading your cards, because that'll like really give me a more like fresh take of this game. But it's always fun when I play it, and I do really enjoy it. The expansions are pretty good too. And the best thing about this game is that it's so easy to add in like computer players. It's dead simple, like doing those AI turns. Yeah, it's fun to play like with like 3 players and then just have like 5 other bot cars going. because like it gives you a lot more chances to slipstream, and it feels a little bit less bad when you get like really far behind then, because usually you can kind of slipstream your way to the front with all those other cars there.
Speaking of games that I think some of us have played too much, I played the shit out of No Thanks. I played it a whole bunch. This is still like a classic. I don't know. It has a lot of replayability because the game is a little bit fake. You can never really predict what's going to happen. It's just kind of it's educated gambles and kind of basing around what other people around the board are doing. It's simple. It's very immediate and engaging, and I feel the stress whenever I'm low on schmeckles, and it keeps going around. And I don't know, it feels very good to be doing well in this game.
At 30, I have Splendor Duel. This is my favorite 2-player only game. Ben and I were playing this game at a board game restaurant in Portland this year, and this couple came down and sat next to us, and the woman started talking to us, and she was like perfectly lovely. She was asking about the game and stuff, and they sat there for like 10 minutes, and then the restaurant eventually kicked them out because they didn't have a reservation. And the dude got like all weird about it. He like started yelling and like swearing and like just totally embarrassed himself. So based on that one interaction alone, I really hope that woman found a better man. Anyway, Splendid Duel, great game.
Yeah, I completely memory hold that. I forgot about that lunatic. I hope he's not a fan.
So embarrassing. They were just like, sorry, the restaurant's full, and there's like a line. You can like wait like everybody else.
Mark, we're gonna get a comment. It's like, you just lost one of your valued subscribers.
My number 30 is Azul. I love this game. It's just such a good abstract tile laying game. If I have to rank it, I think I go Classic Azul, Summer Pavilion, and then Stained Glasses. It's Sintra. It still says Sinatra from last year. That was a typo I made, and then it got copied over. It's Stained Glass of Sinatra in my book. Azul rocks.
We played Scout at the Great Plains Fest. You guys didn't fuck with it? I don't know what you're talking about. This game's awesome. This game is a super duper simple card laying game about getting runs. It's about building combos. It's like kind of a most combos win style game. I played it with my family. I like it even more this year. I think this game is gas.
Speaking of getting runs, I shat myself.
What? Why? Chan had 2 seconds of dead air. Hey, man.
I thought Chan was gonna rip on the theme of this game again, but
Yeah, cut that. My least favorite thing about this is how tacked on the theme is. If it was just numbers, I think it would actually break my top 100.
yeah, I'd probably be in my top 10 if it was just numbers.
I get viscerally angry at the theme because it's like, oh, we're like recruiting for like a circus or something.
The carnival?
And all the cards
Yes, bro.
all the cards have names on them. Like it's like Bobby the Juggler. And it's so small. And it's like, I don't give a shit that this is Bobby. Like this is a 2 and a 5. That's all this is to me.
No, it's better that they have that. It's more fun. It's whimsical. It brings me mirth. It's actually joyful. You're a miserable Grinch. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Go poop your pants again.
Can we go to 29?
Telestrations. Yeah, I really love this game. It's one of my favorite party games. It creates this like really funny narrative where people are like giggling as they're like drawing, and then you can kind of like visually see which notepads are like the funniest because people will like react to them. You can have like some stinker games. I think that if you have like a low player count game, or people are just choosing like really easy prompts like fishing pole or like lamp or something, it kind of ruins it. So I've created Mark's formula for the perfect Telestrations game. And here's what you want. You want either 9 or 11 people, very easy player counts, happens all the time. That way you have a large group, and when you start, you can write a prompt and then immediately pass it. You don't have to draw your own prompt. Nobody wants to do that. And then you want a group of people that'll create like very oddly specific prompts, like very like strange, weird ones. And then if you do that, that's like perfect game.
We played this at the Great Plains Board Game Fest with like 10 dudes in like a small hotel.
That was when me and Nick, friend of the show, we both did One Day Blinding Stew as our prompt.
Yeah.
My number 29 is Anachrony. This is just a freaking awesome Ameritrash Euro game. The theme's really cool, like the world's ended, but like, well, no, the world's about to end, but you're like time traveling to like prepare for it because you're going to start like a new civilization. It's a really cool theme. It's held back a little bit by the fact that the time travel in the game is just like a loan system that's like a little hard to pay off. It makes me want to play a game that would have like more involved time travel, but for what it is, it's a really good game. I've only played it solo. I want to say that. I've only played it solo. I think it could go up if I played it with more players.
So this is my only RPG for this video. This is Paranoia. This is the funniest RPG I've ever played. I played this with strangers at the Sioux Falls Game Chest RPG night, and never saw those guys again, but I had an absolute fucking blast with this game. This game is hysterical. It is a kind of satire, parody of 20th century dystopian literature. Like, it's making fun of like 1984 and like Fahrenheit 451 and Brave New World. And you are all like agents of the state who are trying to like root out like terrorists, but at the same time you have these internal like the players themselves have their own internal objectives that can go against other player characters. And so you're at the same time trying to figure out terrorists in the game. You're also trying to accuse your fellow players of being criminals so that you can shoot them in the head with a plasma pistol. It creates these absolutely ridiculous situations because your characters die like so rapidly. Like, there's no health bar. It's just like, are you dead or are you dying? Those are your states of being. And I had a fantastic time with this one. I've ripped the rule book, and I've been meaning for an excuse to play another game of this. I had a blast with this.
At 28, I had Captain Sonar. I was in the game with Ben that he talked about earlier about like the stinker game that we played, and I totally agree. Like, you really need to set up like specific circumstances for this to work, and now we know like certain maps and stuff just like don't work at all. But to me, despite it not being like a very structurally sound game, I still don't want to play it as a computer game. I like it how it is. I feel like it feels like a summer camp game to me. And like a lot of summer camp games, like it involves like some like self-policing, and like players kind of have to like be on the same page and like agree with like how this is going to work. But it just has like a really unique, funny nature to it that like you can't find in any other game. Yeah, I for one just like want to play it more, I guess.
I'll be upset if I don't play this game just once a year for the rest of my life. My number 28 is Darwin's Journey. We got a beige ass Euro here.
It's worker placement, but it's also like worker upgrading. So like there's like these seals in the game that you can get that like make your individual workers more powerful. This is the only type of game I've played like that so far in my life. There's a lot you can do. Like you can kind of like spec into like exploring these islands at the bottom of the board, or like you could be like just like going to the end of the boat track. It's really cool. It's really cool, and I like it quite a bit.
Except for these too many bones. I was kind of surprised at how much I thought about this after we played it for that first time. I really, really like the upgrade system. I think it's super. I mean, it's a maximalist game. It's like you have a million components. You have quite possibly the most hideous character icons and character art I've ever seen, but in a way that like really works with the theme. Like they truly hold nothing back. But it's just kind of like a trashy dice chucking combat game. You like randomly get these really fun mini games. Like there was a bit where we had to do a dexterity game where we flicked a tile through like a goal post. But it's like the type of game that you would come up with like when you're in high school, just like shooting the shit with some friends. Like there's like a very like wholesome energy to it.
Yeah, those little like encounter mini games are like one of my favorite parts of this game, because it's always like you go through this whole battle and you did like the whole core puzzle, and then like out of left field it's like, okay, now you guys are fighting each other, or like, okay, now you guys are doing like this little dice game that is like unique to this one card, and their rules fit on this one card, and it's different than this other dice game on this other card. And there's just like a million of them. It's so sick. Staying with chip theory here, I have 20 strong Tanglewoods, which I vastly prefer over Solar Sentinels. Those are the two versions that I've tried. Which the fact that I prefer Tanglewoods kind of proves Ben's theory that every game should just be made into Slay the Spire, because it's just, if you took Solar Sentinels and then made it into Slay the Spire, the dice puzzle that is at the core of this game is just like so good that they're making 20 different games based on that. I feel like this is like Chip Theory's just internal ongoing design challenge to themselves, that they just kind of so happen to be selling to us consumers. And I'm here for it. I love a good dice reroll puzzle, and this is one of the best.
All right, speaking of dice chuckers, my number 27 is Dice Mancy. This is a solo castle defense game where you're making this 3x3 grid with cards that like correspond to these like spells that you're popping off with. It's super fun. It's so cool. My only complaint is that like the enemy waves don't scale super well with how powerful you can get as a player, because you can make some just like absolutely broken combos, but like it feels really good when you do, because like you're just like, I'm so powerful. But at a certain point it does kind of trivialize the actual game a little bit, but it's really cool for what it is, and you can get a game through it pretty fast, and every once in a while you get your ass kicked, which is nice.
Next up, So Clover. So Clover stays winning. I mean, I feel like Mark said it best, and Chan repeated it best. I don't have much to say about it. This is just like one of the best clue-giving games. Super duper simple. Simultaneous actions. It beats the Codenames problem. It's just simple. There's like not much else that you can say about this game.
Okay, finally for this list, we have Crocono. This is a game about flicking discs and keeping at least one cheek in your chair at all time. I feel like this game has kind of become like the board game community's like special darling in the genre of like pool and air hockey and that kind of thing. I feel like you just always hear like, oh, you're into board games? Have you tried Crocono yet? It's Canadian. The funny thing is, a lot of my in-laws are Canadian, and they are all like super lukewarm about this game. Like they own a board, and it's like the easiest access I have to a board. They don't care about it at all. So it makes me feel like I'm losing my sanity. Like, am I just trying to be that hipster, or is it actually a good game? But I think it's a good game.
My number 26 is PAX Premier 2nd Edition, which also it didn't move at all, which is kind of crazy. This game's just a really cool area control, tableau building war game. I don't know. This is one of the weirdest games I've ever played still. Like 3 players is just like a great player count for it. I'd like to try it at 4 as well, but it also has a really good solo mode. Mark doesn't think so, but that's okay. I really like the solo on this one.
Okay, this like fully cements me as a fake gamer, but like hear me out here. This is a perfect game. This is a perfect dexterity game. There is a reason that there are RPGs that use the Jenga tower to model like stress and like increasing it, because it has a perfect pacing for a game. Everyone knows how to play it. You set up in like an absolute instant, and it packages very, very nicely and compactly. The arc of this game is so fun, because at the start you're making these like small little easy decisions that happen super rapidly, that slowly becomes more and more stressful and difficult as you go along, until you get to the point where you're just like, as long as I can get this one, then there's no way it's going to come back around to me. And then when it does, it just like adds so much additional stress to you. It's like, if I didn't think I could do it before, what chance do I have now? And it creates this situation where you get in these almost impossible situations where you need to do these like 1 in a million plays, and they're probably closer to like 1 in 20. But just by the fact that like pulling out one and having all of the pieces like fall down, it's like an expert level play, but it feels so incredible when you do it. This game is so satisfying. I played it as drinking games. It's like I've played it like ever since I was a kid. This is like one of my longest played games, and I think it gets disrespected because actual toddlers play it. But I think it's really fun.
If no one's got Jenga, Ben's got Jenga. Goddamn.
Dude, okay, Crokinole is like the prestige version of this, but frankly, like, how is there that much different? It's a mental barrier.
Honestly, my biggest beef with Jenga is just like the sound it makes when the blocks fall down. It's unpleasant to the ears.
Do you say Jenga when that happens? I don't know when you're... is Jenga the name?
Now that I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised in the rules if you're supposed to be like, Jenga! When it falls. But it seems like one of those games that they would tell you to do that.
I mean, they were naming shit like Rummy Cube back then. They didn't know. There were no rules.
It sucks to stack up. I don't enjoy the setup.
I'm losing my mind.
It's not even the fact that I think Jenga's a bad game. It's just like... It's better than So Clover. It's better than Too Many Bones. It's better than Paranoia.
Dude,
it's better than Scout.
It's evergreen.
If we would have been having this conversation last video, I would have completely let this slide. But
Dude,
26 is just crazy work. Crazy
it
work.
Is literally a perfect game. It is literally...
Everybody...
It has...
He's allowed to have an opinion, but we are allowed to not respect him for that opinion.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Okay, well, actually, it depends what kind of Jenga rules you're playing by. Some people play like the once you touch it, that's the one you have to go for. But most of the time when I play Jenga, I'm playing with people who are just like kind of stress testing every single block, and then they just choose the one with least resistance. And it's boring. It's boring. It's not fun. Another beef I have with Jenga is when people make giant Jenga and they're like, it's big, it's going to be more fun. No, it's not.
No, it's worse. The tensile, like hitting it with your finger, feels so good. Like the equivalent to giant Jenga would be like actually punching it with your real human fists. Yeah, I will say it could look better. Like, I don't know, I feel like you could color those blocks, do something with that. That's my one criticism of Jenga.
Just as a reminder, Ben ranked Jenga higher than King Domino, Hex, Snake Oil, Startups. He ranked it higher than Orleans.
Orleans is so bad.
He ranked it higher than Pandemic. He ranked it higher than Arcs.
Yep. Keep them coming.